At 2:17 a.m., Daniel Carter was driving alone on Route 66 when the desert suddenly went silent and a flickering neon sign appeared out of nowhere reading, "Rosewood Motel," a place that did not exist on any map. Yet exhaustion dragged him toward it, and the moment his tires touched the cracked parking lot, his headlights died as if something had swallowed the light. The air turned icy and thick, making it hard to breathe. The motel stood crooked and decaying like a corpse pinned upright, its windows dark but watching, and inside the office a pale woman with cracked lips, backward bent fingers, and endless black eyes slid him a rusted key for room 6 while whispering that everyone eventually stays. And as Daniel walked down the hallway, the floorboards moaned like they were in pain. The walls pulsed like veins, and from behind locked doors came whispers calling his name in voices that sounded exactly like his dead parents. And each step made memories leak into his head that were not his. Car crashes, suicides, screams, prayers unanswered. Until room 6 stood at the end of the hall breathing softly, and inside the door slammed shut. The lock twisted by itself. The lights flickered violently, and the walls began to sweat a thick black liquid that smelled of rot, and the mirror showed his reflection smiling wider and wider until its jaw split open, teeth falling out one by one, whispering every sin Daniel had buried, including the night he kept driving instead of stopping to help a stranger on this same road. And suddenly the bed sank inward like something massive was lying beneath it. Children's voices crying turned into wet, choking laughter. Fingers pushed up through the mattress grabbing at his ankles, and bloody handprints appeared on the ceiling crawling toward him like spiders while the room stretched longer and narrower as if trying to swallow him whole. And when Daniel tried to scream, the walls absorbed the sound and replaced it with whispers telling him he deserved to die alone. And then the motel vanished and he stood barefoot in the freezing desert watching police officers pull burned remains from his twisted car. His own face melted and unrecognizable, while officers walked straight through his transparent body, forcing him to remember the crash, the impact, the fire, and the seconds of agony before death. But before acceptance could come, the desert began to shake, the sand opening like a mouth. And the motel rose again behind him, now alive and breathing, its doors opening and closing like jaws, its windows filled with stitched faces, men, women, children, sewn together and screaming silently, and the woman's voice crawled inside his skull telling him room 6 was starving, that it fed on guilt and unfinished deaths, that every soul inside helped build its walls. And black skeletal hands erupted from the sand, tearing into Daniel's legs, peeling his skin like paper as he was dragged backward, leaving trails of blood that turned to dust. And inside room 6, time stopped completely. His body rotted in seconds while his soul stayed awake, forced to relive his death repeatedly while watching endless lost drivers arrive night after night. Some screaming, some praying, some laughing as they broke, and Daniel realized the worst truth, that the motel was not a place but a punishment, a living thing born from the road itself. And even when morning came and the desert looked normal with only a small cross by the roadside, deep beneath the sand, room 6 remained awake, growing larger, breathing louder, whispering through the wind, patiently waiting for the next tired driver whose heavy eyes would soon catch a flickering neon light promising rest but delivering eternity.